This is pilleater, and I record this on October 8th, 2022. This little pop-up advertisement magazine worth $12.25 kind of cracks me up. If you look on the front cover, it just says, "Get writing! Our 5-minute Kickstarter will boost your outlet every day," as if you're a lazy fuck and you don't know how to write. There's a lot of condescending things about this front cover to begin with. Or writers in really big. How to write, what to sell for, form, win, enter our fiction, poetry, and flat. It feels like the occupation of being a quote-unquote writer is the equivalent of a James Burnham managerial class where I'm telling the robot at the Taco Bell to deliver the tacos and I'm not going to do anything about it. Or it's the person who operates the vacuum cleaner and designates where the vacuum cleaner cleans up, even though you're not the vacuum cleaner. And so this magazine, even on the back, where it says, "How to become a successful writer." Like, I just walk in the park and I get hit by lightning. I know, am I supposed to be doing something? Am I supposed to be patting my head and rubbing my stomach and then I'm a successful writer? But all this stuff, it feels that they are aware and acknowledging know that anyone can fart, anyone can piss. I mean, it's Umberto Eco when he said he's writing novels, he's taking a piss. So when I see this and if I was to be an old person with Alzheimer's in suburban Pennsylvania and I see this, um, they're addressing these things which the neurotic middle class fancy person can't succumb to not do, like editing, when to stop cutting, part work, how to plot a short story. Like, no one ever said that writing requires plot or editing. Articles for a beginner. Like, you are a complete fucking idiot. And you need to have an ideology, an advertising ideology before you ever begin. Blog tour basics, like you don't know how to fucking start a Substack. I mean, Substack has already replaced Blogspot, and it's really fucking simple what to do. Okay, well, we know it's for women because it says I may be some unearthing with the women left behind. Workshops, exercise, and market news. Like, you need other people to play board games with in order that maybe going to the gym somehow you'll improve. Yet, here, they very well know that writing is everybody does it. It's just like speaking the fucking English language. I'm doing it right now. So again, there seems to be this really strange ideology what a writer is supposed to be. And it's like, no, you just fucking do it. What's even worse about this big advertisement, it's really meant for old people simply because you're not going on the internet to order it. You use this kind of, I don't know, this form and it goes to United Kingdom. A lot of things just don't make sense here. And perhaps the biggest giveaway is your free writing guide is what Chuck Palahniuk has to say. Chuck Palahniuk. This is a very sad Palahniuk who basically said that Jim Goad's one of my favorite writers. Who basically said, I love Jack Donovan and what he writes about. And maybe we should surrogate Chuck Palahniuk's behavior and think that Greg Johnson of Countercurrents is our guide. We should all write anti-liberal, reactionary types of writing, and this is going to be the whole of what old people with dementia and Alzheimer's have to write about. So many exploitations and misreading right here. It's very, because we know this thing beforehand, we could see this as a giant scam. I want to become an astronaut. Here's a $12 magazine, overpriced magazine, telling me how to become an astronaut because I've wasted my life being a stay-at-home person, and I guess, it's as easy as knocking on someone's door. They're not telling you, like, these vital red pill messages on the functions of capitalism. Why is there a black Labrador retriever on a confused about self-publishing ad by York Publishing Service? Nowhere does it say there is a cute dog symbolizing or advertising their company. Their whole pitch is that I guess it's mainstream that publishing companies will flatter you, take your book, you don't get a paycheck, and or they want you to pay in and it doesn't sell or something, and they're the laws of capitalism using Marxist exploitation against you. But I think it's funny here is that there is no reason in an advertising criticism there should be a cute black Labrador in the corner looking all sad face, as if this is entirely made for old people at home, and I'm going to stop flipping the page because I'm an illiterate fuck and some sad dog is looking at me, getting my attention so I can go to the shifty company called York Publishing that I've never heard in the self-publishing. It's you only have two choices: Lulu or Amazon. Everyone knows that. Jeff Bezos or your own Lulu. That's it. You got to do everything by yourself in self-publishing. There is no independent publisher that's going to help you. That's all just people. That's just like Matt Forney stealing your IP and then making money off of it so he can live in Mexico. Your fame won't increase, your brand won't increase, it won't decrease. It just is. It's just distribution. And really, we're talking about economics here. But no, I just want to be clearly here. If anybody wants to point out why the fuck there's a black sad dog on the cover, I don't know. Perhaps this is the greatest existential dread of them all. Should I have a website? Should you have a website? How hard could it be? I mean, I don't know. What year is it? 2022? I mean, people have micro websites like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and that's all owned by oligarchs like Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, and Elon Musk. But have you ever thought about getting a .com website? Oh man, you're going to have to pay monthly for the fees and for your DOS attacks or something, How hard could it be to run a website? I mean, will the website increase my brand so others know that I have a book out about my old grandpa with Alzheimer's? Will people buy my book? They say a captive audience is helpful when you want to publicize a book, so obviously having a .com website is needed. Oh man, I've never touched a computer in my life. I don't even know how to use GoDaddy or HostGator. Even Blogspot, I just have to buy a domain name. I have to use my credit card. I can imagine the English writers, quote unquote, or editors making this, knowing well that they're caressing their hands, knowing that they're exploiting a fucking stupid generation of boomers with Alzheimer's with these 3 tips to give away. Keep your website simple and don't crowd it. Well, who says that? I mean, Yale School of Art has a crowded website, and there's this one Swedish website that has crowded. I mean, what if you want, today's Zoomer, GeoCities, Angel Filer, aesthetic websites where it looks like a vintage website, and it's kind of like Wiki World News tab shit. That's in right now, so I don't know why they're against clutter. If you decide to do a blog and are stuck for ideals, review a recent okay, so now I have to be Trevor Lynch / Greg Johnson and do my white nationalist series of doing Spy Kids to fucking Marvel movies. And then I'm going to make, this is my leftist socialist interpretation of the Matrix. Like, that's already fucking flooded with that shit. It's like this is like information on how to be like a fucking idiot on the internet. And finally, take courage from the very person in this article, because you're still an illiterate fuck. Sacred is what you're feeling. Brave is what you're doing, assuming that you've been scared your entire life living in suburbia, and brave is what no one has ever told you to be at 15. Wow. I love the subculture, too, of the self-publishing English books. And with all that advice being said, they just hire the worst fucking people to do the covers, and thus it makes it so bad it's good, right? One book in the cover of The Ant is about the secret ant society, and Mr. Patrick James shares his life and hardship in the United Kingdom along with the struggle of the people in this film animation story. There's one in the corner about a Polish person narrating his life in 1940s, like I want to hear that. The first chapters of A Philosopher's Dream about how we reach a utopian society. It's like as if these people never went to fucking college in their life. Like, you know, PragerU bashes about how bad undergraduate is, right? Especially in the last generations. They're not going to, like, retain any of their leftist or rightist rhetoric that they learn, or, you know, even perhaps a modernist education. And what modernist is, they get middle class people and assume you have responsibility. You must be a Eurocentric, preserving English major, and you have to believe Shakespeare is a real person, and Chaucer is ridiculing lower class people. Yeah, and that's what's horrible about modernists. These are like modernists without the modernist Eurocentric assimilation. So they're like lower middle class people because they're dumb enough to be exploited here. And it's literally like this diluted echo chamber of feel-good inner workings of capitalism. It really feels scummy, this boss. Like, I've worked with Ponzi scheme scummers before, and this is like the top of it. They're really exploiting people on the low bell curve here. Long story short, I remember in 2015, I met a liberal kid who went to Temple University, had a Chinese girlfriend, was interested in the Chinese language, was super friends with me because I was into hip, you know, Asian art stuff. And he became very hostile towards me when I introduced the concept of Asianarianism and was criticizing how society is becoming more Eurasian in order to replace as the new whiteness. And he just thought, are you an advocate of it or are you against it? It's kind of this death and June conundrum. And it's just the truth, right? It's going to happen. And whether you have to believe in race, you just can't deny it. And his rebuttal against me was, well, I'm a writer. I'm open to many different views. This is what I do. I write about Buddhism, and I compare and contrast with it. This is more to society than Arianism. And it's signaling that he has never read a work of Julius Evola Miguel Serrano or any of the Hindu-Aryan theory, and how the word Aryan still triggers the libs to this day as meaning the supremacist middle-class being. It worked with that fucking idiot Carrie Jacobs at SVA. It can work now. And so, if that person is calling themselves a writer, Andrew, and if Andrew is telling me, I'm a writer, pilleater, I know what I'm doing, and you're not a writer because you're illiterate. See, writing is now an ideology. Writing is now, I have the responsible paternalism to tell you what the ideology should be shifted to do. And this is the same shitty, this Writers Forum magazine is deluding you that it is a middle-class value to have things like you're a fireman, a baker in the street, and then you're going to live happily ever after in your trust fund suburbia or whatever, out, you know. And so all of this is in the head. And nobody, when did farting become a professional farter? I'm a farter now. You wouldn't understand this. There's responsibilities to farting. Everybody speaks English. Everybody writes in the English language in America. Who said that I now have the tip of the artist's pen? Creative writers use the medium of the English language to construct and create art, but that falls to the same rules and basis of how fine art works. So again, this little catalog, which exploits you of $13, they're selling you the ideology, echo chambering you that it must be thought of in a certain way to be a writer, that you have some kind of authoritative stance, when no one has ever told you that there's the difference between writing as in communication and documenting versus writing in creative writing. And hopefully within creating writing, you're just being like Dennis Cooper and you're using the English language for your own prose, what you subjectively think. There is no objective manner to the story. So again, this is a fraud piece, and I hope people like Andrew from Temple and his Asian sexual fetish, he'll realize that his writing is so important. He'll deny race. He'll deny he's ever pursuing Asian women. It has, I'm an egalitarian person. It has nothing to do with my my interest in anime and hentai and Asian women and all that. And it's just so goofy at this moment. He's going to live his entire life buying these whiter form magazines and never admitting who he truly is, an Asian sexual. So